Hey everybody, welcome back. Andy Ross here, America's Health Insurance Today, where we answer your questions nationwide. KLAV Radio, 1230 on your radio dial here in the Las Vegas, Nevada area. We are an email-based answer your question format. That's Andy Ross at cox.net. Before we jump into the next question, I want to say a big hello to Catherine Evans. She's a good friend of my biz partner. That's my business partner, Paul. She is out of Washington. I hope I say this right. It's Puyallup. I probably said that wrong, and I apologize.
Puyallup.
Puyallup. It's Puyallup, Washington. And she's a great gal, a top drawer person in the business, and a friend of my my brother and my business partner, Paul Dione. And I just am thrilled to say hey to Catherine, and hope you're listening out there. Anyway, next question. Andy, I hear you mention contracted rate a lot. What does that mean again, please? Good question, and I do say it a lot. Well, what it means is that there are contracted rates between the doctor, the hospital, the clinics, the pharmacies, and the insurance company. These contracted rates are a fraction of what you would pay if you didn't have health insurance. They're critical. And you only want to pay the contracted rate. So when people, the old, I went to the hospital and it cost $10 for a Kleenex or an aspirin, like I always say, the reason is for that person you didn't have health insurance. If you did, the contracted rate for an aspirin is 10 cents. For a tissue, it's a nickel. So the key to the deal is that when you get a bill, make sure that you get the contracted rate. When you go to get a procedure, or they say to you, hey, listen, we need to run some tests. It's the old, listen, I have a little stomach ache, and the next thing you know, they're running out all the equipment. They're going to run every test known to man to let you know that you have a little indigestion. First of all, make sure before the procedure is done, what are you going to pay? I'm going to give you a good example. I needed an MRI done on my knee this past year, and the bill would have been $1,095. They offered me a cash discount. The cash discount off $1,095 will say it was about 25%, so we'll call it $800. I said, no. I want the contracted rate. Please go get the contracted rate. That's all I'm paying. It was $350. I rest my case. So the contracted rate's going to be a fraction. You're not going to accept a cash deal. You're going to always say, hey, look, what is the contracted rate? Andy Ross told me to make sure I ask that question. Anyway, next question. Andy, do you have an opinion about generic versus brand drugs? Well, do I have an opinion? I do. But my opinion, I don't think, is any different than anybody else's opinion. I'm a health insurance expert. I'm not a drug expert. I do think, based on information that you've probably heard, and I believe it, and I've seen it, is that they're the same. Save money. The people have said to me, Andy, my own customers, God, I can't take that generic, the brand, that it could be psychological. But in the end, who am I to say? You have to be happy with your medication. If all things are equal, go with the generic every single time. If it's not working for you, then you can always go to the brand. The brand is going to be much more expensive. That's all I have to say about that. And if it's a reoccurring drug that you're getting every month, and the difference between the generic and the brand is $40, 40 times is almost $500 a year. And you take that $500, let's say your premium in health insurance is $250, that's 2 months of health insurance on that drug alone. So try to get used to the generic if it works for you. Again, only if it works for you. And I'm not here to certainly make a recommendation for any individual on what drug is right for them. But if all things are equal, generic's the answer. Andy, is asthma considered a pre-existing condition? Answer, yes. It is, absolutely, all day long. And then you have to list the meds you're on. Singular, Advair, Albuterol. So yes, and asthma is a very, very, very common of all the pre-X's, and there's many. asthma is certainly one that crops up quite a bit. For us here in Nevada, Las Vegas, being a desert town with the dust and so on, you know, if you have asthma, you're going to have extra asthma. So anyway, bottom line is yes, it's a pre-existing condition. So if you went to apply for insurance and you wrote down asthma, and you must, full disclosure, as we always talk about, they're going to rate you up 20%, 25%, depending on what you're doing and how much you're doing it. So what's the answer? Get the insurance before you get diagnosed with asthma. Get the kids' insurance, and I'm going to say it until the end of time. Get the kids' insurance, please. Get it from the time they're born. And if I get to, I have a question down here, and if I get to it today, we'll talk about it. But the bottom line is get the kids' insurance, please, and get insurance for yourself. Next question. Why do women cost more than men? Aren't men more reckless? I don't get it. My insurance is so much more expensive than my husband's. It's frustrating. Great question. The answer is that women have preventative care. Women, if you multiply a woman going for her preventative examination yearly by the head count in women, I did it on my calculator, it went off of the scale. That's why women are more expensive. And it's in their reproduction years. Health insurance becomes a lot more close in premium between men and women. Children are the same. Scott's telling me we got about 10 seconds before we go to a break, so I'll come back to that question. So we're going to be back in about a minute, and thank you.